55 degrees at 6:35. Strike on a fastball, 1-1. Played up by Ryan Addington today as Sagano faces Kwan, all-star a year ago. Third home run of the season came on Tuesday night off Charlie Morton, a 6-3 Cleveland win. There's a rarity. Stephen Kwan never swings and misses, and Sagano throws a great splitter on his first splitter of the game.
Yeah, throws it about almost 22% of the time. Bottom drops out. You either swing through it or maybe you get a ground ball.
And another one. My goodness. That's a Haley's Comet event. 2 swings and misses for Stephen Kwan in the same at bat.
Well, look where the ball ends up, right on the corner. And that's the way this guy went 15-3 last year in Japan. Not only did he go 15-3, he gave up an ERA of 1.67 runs per game.
First pitch to Jose Ramirez, skied into foul territory in right. That will get into the seats. I tell you folks how unlikely what we just saw was. Stephen Kwan coming into this game, I know it's early, but this is reflective of his career. He had the 3rd lowest whiff rate, swing and miss rate in baseball this year for hitters. He had swung and missed only 7.5% of his swings. And then Tomoyuki Sagano, the 5th lowest swing and miss rate of any starter. So a really good sign, and a very weak swing by Ramirez on a curveball. And this is 6 pitches in, some pretty crisp stuff.
Yeah, take a look at the pitch arsenal, and again the splitter almost 22%, 4-seamer. I mean, he's got them all. He sinks it. He'll throw the riser. Obviously, if you look at the numbers, the curveball, and it was a really good one. Of course, the Statcast 3D powered by Google Cloud, and again, I mean, he's got an array of pitches.
Breaking ball is low to Santana. Santana 3 for 9 in the series, takes a low splitter. 39-year-old had a couple of hits yesterday. He began his career as a Cleveland catcher back in 2010. He's played a lot of his career at first base. Was an all-star back in 19. This is his 3rd tour of duty as he takes a cutter strike with the franchise, with a year in Philly. Between the first 2, Royals, Mariners, Pirates, Brewers, Twins, all over the last 5 years, and perhaps ending his career where he started it. 2-1 pitch is swung through. Another terrific breaking ball.
Well, I'll tell you what. I mean, this first game I've actually done in person. Tomoyuki has pitched, and already it seems like this is the best spin rate, the best command. I know it's early. A couple of outs in the first inning.
And a little roller to second. Another good splitter. That is a different Tomoyuki Sagano than we've seen in any of the first 3 starts, folks. He puts up a 0 for the top of the Oriole offense. Well, Cedric Mullins returns to the leadoff spot today. One of 4 Orioles to homer this series. One of them is on the bench, Ramon Laureano. Gunnar Henderson moved down to the 2 spot today with Jackson Holliday back in there after his grand slam last night. Orioles 9th in the majors, 4.9 runs a game. And that's the 9 that will take on Cleveland's young starter, Tanner Bybee, whose first pitch is off the plate. Right-hander Bybee, a couple of scoreless starts this year. In between, he gave up 7 in 4 innings in Anaheim.
Yeah, 4 home runs in that ball game. Trout, Renigo, Soler, and O'Hoppe.
A bunt by Mullins is going to roll foul for strike 1.
Just get it on the chalk line. We saw that the other night. It doesn't go foul.
Well, Brandon Hyde wanted to give Gunnar Henderson a little bit of a breather off the start, chance to watch a few pitches, and so maybe he won't mind that went foul. He can get a little extra time to gear up. Oriole manager in his 7th year.
And of course, if Cedric gets on, I mean, almost dictates that Bybee has to maybe throw a few more fastballs. Throws about, and that's the changeup. That's probably his 2nd best pitch. He's got a cutter. I mean, he's got all the pitches. I mean, cutter, sweeper, sinker, changeup. He does nothing but win. 10-4 a couple of years ago. Last year, 10-8. Excuse me, 12-8.
Line foul to the right side by Cedric. That was the sweeper, one of the 5 pitches that Tanner Bybee throws.
And again, I mean, he can move it around. There's the 4-seamer up in the zone, and the sinker, the changeup. Loves the cutter. 4 for 7 on that cutter with 2 of those 4 home runs.
94 up and in. Beautifully located pitch there, and Mullins starts the game with a strikeout.
At 94, you can just add 4 or 5 miles per hour if you get it on the corner. And you got one of the better framing catchers in all of baseball, Austin Hedges. Receives the ball, it gives you a great target, and then Bybee hits it.
So Henderson gets to see 5 pitches before standing in. 2 for 8 in the series. These were the 1st and 2nd place finishers for the Rookie of the Year 2 years ago in the American League. Bybee, one of the great rookie years for any Cleveland pitcher. Henderson, one of the best rookie years for any Orioles hitter. Gunnar at 214, just 1 walk, 16 strikeouts, and he does still not have an RBI in 43 plate appearances.
Or a home run. Yeah.
That ball's lashed left center field. There is your first home run.
Yeah, the big yeah.
I guess that was all it took, huh? You drop the guy 1 spot in the lineup, you're a genius. Gunnar Henderson, welcome to 2025. A left center field shot for an Oriole lead.
Well, that's the new fence here. They brought it in. Now, I mean, it certainly goes over the newer fence. Maybe last year it's a double, maybe a triple the way he can run. Well, that ball had to be what, 113, 114? They hit it that hard?
109 right around there. Another ball absolutely scorched.
What do you think? The launch angle, maybe 17 degrees, something like that. I mean, it stayed the same height.
Rutschman over to first. Now, once again, you're right on it. It was 18 degrees, which makes that the lowest launch angle on a home run of Gunnar Henderson's career.
Well, it's just the line drive. And he hits it so hard, but just hits it high enough. Doesn't quite get it into the splash zone, but he certainly gets it on the scoreboard.
Wow, what a start. 3 home runs yesterday. Henderson with now the Orioles' 21st of the season. And I would just say, watch out, Major League Baseball, because it's not going to be much longer, if it's any longer now, that Gunnar Henderson's going to be shut down. The hard hits have been there. It's just been a matter of timing, rhythm, and elevating the ball. He's just pounding the ball often into the ground. He starts to do that, it's going to be game over for opposing pitchers. Strike two, nice cutter, which is a really good pitch by Bibee to O'Hearn. Ryan 3 for 4 in this series. Home run in the 8th last night. He also has a walk. And he strikes out on a changeup. So bookend K's, but a long ball in between. Jim, you called it. Waiting for that first home run.
Well, I just said it's a matter of time. He hadn't hit one yet. Well, you can take the yet out of the equation. 1-0 Orioles.
Haley Harris from Frederick has won $500 for being selected and will win $500 more for every Orioles home run, $5,000 for every O's grand slam hit tonight. Learn how to be the fast play contestant of the game at Orioles.com/home run. Haley's already cashed in $500 more. Cedric Mullins will get to this fly ball in center off the bat of Gabriel Arias. And Cedric and the Orioles with a 1-0 lead, courtesy of Gunnar Henderson's first home run of the season. So Tomoyuki Sagano gets to pitch with an early lead.
Yeah, a little, I guess he calls it a sweeper. It's almost like a slider. Hangs up there, but I don't know of any outfielder that gets a better jump on the ball than Cedric Mullins. He makes, difficult plays look so routine.
Sagano misfires high to Nolan Jones. 17th start of the year in center for Mullins. All of the Oriole games but one. That was, according to StatCast, that's a 75% catch probability, but for a lot of outfielders, they probably have to dive. Cedric didn't come close to leaving his feet. He makes what can be a tricky play look so routine.
Yeah, it's a much bigger strike zone tonight, and I think both pitchers will take advantage of that. And again, it's not that Will Little's strike zone didn't do a good job. He was very consistent, but it was a little smaller. Ryan Addington, his strike zone appears to be a little bit bigger. Hitters don't like it, but pitchers certainly do.
Plus, he's wearing glasses, so you know it's going to be good. That's the rest of the crew. Ryan Wills, Lance Barksdale, and the aforementioned Will Little.
Yeah, Jones has got some power. As you mentioned last night, he came back. He was originally signed by the Guardians and then went up to Colorado. Yeah.
Line to second on a splitter, 2 down.
Now that obviously if that finds a hole, it's going in there. But again, he got him out there hitting on 1 foot because the split dove down and away. And of course, you can see Jones, a big, strong guy. Check this ball out. I mean, he just hits with one hand, but right on the number, right to Jackson Holiday. All about changing speeds for Sagano.
Right-handed batting Lane Thomas has struggled to start the year. Was the Nationals Player of the Year 3 seasons ago. Thomas was a deadline acquisition for Cleveland. They had very high hopes for him, and he hit just 209 with 657 on base plus slugging. Above average hitter in his career, but this year 1 walk and 1 extra base hit in 37 plate appearances.
But has some power. And there's a pitch that I thought you would get, but called it off the plate. I mean, what, 28 home runs that year you talked about?
Yeah, just 2 years ago.
And then a lot of steals. Stole over 30 bases last year.
Swinging away on 3-0. He punches one to Mullins, and again, I'm telling you, a lot of center fielders are going to be sprawled out for that. Not Cedric Mullins. He makes it all look easy. Baseball on Masson is brought to you by the Charm City Circulator. Stay for the last pitch. The Orange Route runs until 11 p.m. for select weekday games. Visit CharmCityCirc.com. And by Mason's Famous Lobster Rolls. Mason's Famous Lobster Rolls, straight from the waters of Maine. 1-0 Oriole lead. Jordan Westberg back in the lineup. Westberg, the designated hitter today. He got off to that great start in Toronto and has struggled since, and he's been banged up, dealing with some upper body issues. So 0 for his last 20. Now Jackson Holiday snapped out of, and 0 for 17 yesterday. Hopefully Jordan can do something similar, get his first hit in 11 days.
Yeah, that's kind of unusual, especially 4 for 32 on fastballs because of the way he uses the middle of the field.
Facing Tanner Bybee. Breaking ball lofted to Lane Thomas in center. So Bybee, Cleveland's opening day starter, at least he was supposed to be. He was scratched a few hours before the start with what we'll call stomach food poisoning. It was acute gastroenteritis was the official term.
Just spell it for us. No, you can't read it.
May I have the language of origin? But he earned the opening day. Not even if he didn't end up pitching. Signed a 5-year extension this spring, and he's got off to a really strong start. Especially with Shane Bieber on the shelf. He'll return around midseason from early Tommy John surgery last year. 1-1 to Heston Kjerstad. Bybee was an integral part of this Cleveland team, which won the American League Central, beat the Tigers in the DS, and made it to the ALCS where they lost to the Yankees.
Well, college pitcher on a really good program, Cal State Fullerton. What I liked is the first year, A-ball, Double-A, he actually got about 32 innings, and then he progressed to the big leagues through 142, and then last year 173. So he was ready to pitch and pitch deep into games, and also in that 173 innings was over 31 starts. He's really got a nice mix, and he's a strike thrower. You know, in the championship series, Yankees roughed him up. He came back in later in the series and really pitched well. So even made adjustments in the postseason. Wow.
Down and away on 3-1. The first walk of the game goes to Heston Kjerstad.
Well, that's what they did in the second inning yesterday. A couple of walks, little hanging sweeper to Ryan Mountcastle, who's coming up now, and then the grand slam.
One on, one out for Mountie. First pitch breaking ball. That's the cutter. It sure moves like a slider. It's got some of the nastiest movement of any cutter in baseball. And early on, the league's hit it hard, 4 for 7, 2 homers. But last year, batters hit just 144 with 1 home run off of that cutter. There's a Baltimore chop off the plate. And the shortstop, Brian Rocchio, makes the play at first as Kjerstad moves up.
The Baltimore chop, Wee Willie Keeler ran through the streets of Baltimore.
Yeah, you wouldn't be saying wee Ryan Mountcastle, I don't think.
No, not a wee. He's not a me-I guy, you know, nor is he a wee guy.
He is neither. It's true.
No.
6'4", 220. Jackson Holiday.
I mean, he really has a good changeup. Great arm action. What's the difference between a good changeup and a bad one? Slow your arm down. Hitter reads it. But again, he throws it just like the fastball, and the good changeup, you can't tell the difference.
Runner at second is Kjerstad. And a fastball wasted to Holiday. Grand slam came in this inning yesterday. Bases loaded, 1 out. Jackson continues to really wear out the middle and the back side of the field.
And they play him to pull. Lane, the right fielder, over a couple of steps to right center.
That ball's pulled into the dugout. 1-0 sweeper. That was a pitch from Gavin Williams, and Jackson swept it away for his second career grand slam.
That's 4 big ones on one swing.
Only disappointment was seeing Eldon catch it in the hat out in the bullpen.
And you can see Bybee can really, I mean, he can add and subtract with the best of them for young pitchers. Only 26 years old in his 3rd major league season.
Bybee's 2-2.
Yeah, you signed a guy out of, again, Cal State Fullerton, 5th round. You let him pitch 132 innings. He strikes out 167. You got to be really happy.
I think a lot of similarities to Shane Bieber. Not just a similar physical build, similar arsenals.
Yeah.
Got strike 3 called on a high one. Jackson turns back and has a word for Ryan Addison. Brandon Hyde has a stinky look on his face. So Jackson down looking. 3 strikeouts for Bybee, and the lead remains 1-0. let's check out our T-Mobile coverage cam tonight. 2 more terrific plays in center field. Terrific jumps as well from Cedric Mullins.
Yeah, I just got a text from Adam Jones. He said he's talking about the lineage of Oriole center fielders.
We'll have to track this one down off the bat of Daniel Schneemann. At the wall, Mullins! Oh, he nearly had it. He nearly made Adam look like an impossible prophet. But Mullins' robbery attempt is foiled on a home run from Daniel Schneemann to tie the game leading off the 3rd.
Yeah, great utility player. What he play? Third, short, second, first, left, center, and right last year. When he got called up from AAA Columbus, he was one of the leading hitters with some power, with a great on-base percentage. And we've seen the ball carry. Yeah, like you said, the wind's not blowing like it was, but you get it up in the air, it is going out of here.
So the 2nd of the year for Schneemann, and look at how close Cedric came. This will give us a better angle. Oh.
What, about 4 inches over the glove?
395-foot home run. If it's 394, it may well be an out. We've seen him there before. Gary Sanchez knows all about that when he was with the Yankees. And Mullins stone cold robbed him a few years ago. But the first Cleveland base runner of the game, Schneemann, ties it to lead off the 3rd.
Yeah, 2nd home run of the year last year, and not a lot of at bats. 193, hit 5 of them.
So 1-2 for Austin Hedges is buried.
And as Schneemann, what a story. The 1003rd player back in 2018 pick to the draft. And here he is in the big leagues.
So Sagano had gone 6 up, 6 down with a strikeout first 2 innings. We'll get through some trouble after the leadoff home run. The 11-year big leaguer Austin Hedges, who will get a piece of Ryan Addington.
Checking the mask, checking the glasses.
He just throw the glasses away.
Might have broken.
Oh, he threw his chin protector away, which hit the deck.
Where are the glasses?
There they are.
Well, you certainly can't yell at him from the dugout. Hey, get some glasses up, because he's got them.
Yeah, he's already fending off the most obvious comments. Try it again. Pitch number 7 to the backup catcher Hedges. On the ground, that kick's just foul.
Yeah, he's hanging in there.
Reputation, Austin Hedges, is a very poor offensive player. He's never been a league average hitter in his 11 years. 2 for 12 this year. He does have 5 walks and a homer. So how do you make it 11 years? Well, as you mentioned, you frame pitches. He frames pitches as well as about anybody. Incredible leader behind the plate. So well regarded by pitchers, by pitching coaches, by staffs.
Well, the other thing you know, we used to have, you'd sit down with your catcher and you decide how you want to pitch. Now you have analytical people, you have assistant pitching coaches, you have your pitching coaches, you have your catchers, and he's been an integral part in game planning how they're going to try to pitch people.
Wow, that ball just blasted to left. Austin Hedges gives the Guardians back-to-back homers. tell you what, a guy who has struggled mightily in his career, the one thing he does, he runs into a long ball every now and then, and he ran into that one with real power.
Well, 2 last year and 132 at bats. Did hit 7 back in 22. Pittsburgh, he hit 1. 294 at bats. Hard to tell what it was, other than being right down the middle. And
394 feet after 395, and Hedges, who it's been a while, does have 4 double-digit home run seasons. It's number 2 of the year, and just like that, Sagano's perfect game through 2 turns into a lead through 2 innings and 2 batters for Cleveland. 1-1 to Rocchio. Guardians now 22 homers, so they have jumped back ahead of the Orioles by 1. Teams were tied for 9th home runs per game in the majors. Down to first, Mountcastle stumbles into it, and Sagano covers.
well, that's twice now in this series he saved doubles. Definitely going to his left.
So go figure here. Sagano struck out Stephen Kwan, one of the toughest guys in the world to strike out, and hadn't struck out anybody else. Ball 1 to the Guardians' leadoff man. Kwan, the 3rd lowest whiff rate, as we said, among all major league hitters coming into the game. Sagano, the 5th lowest whiff rate for pitchers. And a breaking ball, strike 1.
Well, he threw him 2 superb splits. One went straight down, the other one went right to the corner, and that caused the strikeout.
Yanks it. Holiday settling in short right makes the play.
I mean, Tamayuki is no different than anybody that's not overpowering. If you stay out of the middle of the plate, and he's got exquisite control when he's on his game. 17 inches, you can add the width of the ball. You can make the plate about 21 inches, and that's what he needs to do. He needs to stay on the inside 5 or the outside 5. If he's in the middle, his stuff doesn't play very well.
Does he have a little bit less margin for error than most because it's not quite as overpowering stuff?
Yeah, very much so.
And we saw him hit 95 at the end of spring training, but he's averaged 92, 93 on the fastballs this year.
Which is only about a mile under the league average. That's factoring in all the guys at the back end of the bullpen that throw 96 to 99 or 100.
Ramirez powers it to Henderson, knocks it down, recovers, and got it there in time.
They'll probably take a look at this. Bang, bang.
Play on, says Stephen Kwan. No challenge after this rocket from Henderson.
Well, guys, the Orioles, as we know, have had to deal with the injury bug for quite some time now. Now, two different updates for you today. We'll start with the bad first. Grayson Rodriguez had a side session scratched a couple days ago. He is now dealing with shoulder soreness that is different than his original injury. He's getting an MRI. Manager Brandon Hyde said it will take a couple days to ultimately determine what is going on, but it was a very frustrated Rodriguez at the field trying to initially work through it. Now, the good news is Tyler O'Neill had some amazing plays in the outfield this series before being scratched from the lineup yesterday with neck soreness. Talking to some of the coaches today, they said he came in, got some lighter work done, but said overall he's feeling much better. So hopefully tomorrow, nothing obviously official as of yet, but he's out moving around in the dugout, chatting it up with the guys.
Yeah, you don't have a choice if you stand next to Tyler Wells. You will talk your ear off, so to speak. He may have an injury to his ear. Neck will get better.
So you're saying he better get out there so Tyler doesn't hurt another part of the upper body? Thank you, Mel, for the updates. And the headline there is a really unfortunate one. A pretty discouraging sounding news on Grayson Rodriguez. He had been feeling good for a while. Felt like this was a pretty normal injury and a normal progression back. As I don't know where that pitch missed, 3-1, but now shut down again. Puts Grayson's timeline in serious doubt for this season.
Well, what, a couple years ago, shoulder. The year before that, lat. Last year, lat. Missed the last 2 months. So hopefully, maybe he'll get a positive MRI. I mean, if you're a glass half full guy versus half empty, but it's certainly not a good sign that it's not progressing as fast as he'd like.
Ramon just took the same pitch this time for a strike. And now a 3-2 from Tanner Bybee. That's way high.
Yeah, a little 3-2 changeup. You hope that with Mullins coming up, you open up a hole. Cedric, he's been hitting the ball all over the field, but he can pull the ball with the best of them. So you set up that first and third situation. Jones playing right field has a good arm, but
it was only the second changeup Tanner Bybee's thrown to a right-hander all season. On 3-2 to Ramon Urias.
And you just kind of wonder why when you have all those other pitches.
Yeah.
I mean, there's got to be a reason he doesn't throw that. My changeup was much better to lefties. Righties visually.
So 0-1 to Ced. Takes a fastball up and away, and with pitches that are around that area, Jimmy, he's been much better driving the ball to the opposite field again.
Yeah, and also taking them. We saw that last night. He's a fastball hitter. When he hit the 30 home runs, 30 year back in 2021, he hit fastballs for 20 home runs. But those are just good takes. I mean, you got to understand, if you take the close pitches, you're going to get better pitches to hit, because if you walk them, it's a double. Maybe not because Urias is at first because he can't steal. But the fast guys always get better pitches if they're willing to be, a little bit more disciplined.
You think that's partly why he's taking more pitches, because he's not trying to pull as much this year?
I don't know. I think his swing is better. When you go back to 21, yeah, they got the home runs, but he hit a lot of balls to left field. Hit 291 that year. Used the whole field.
That ball's driven the other way. Kwan galloping toward the line. Has it in his sights and in his glove. So Mullins is 0 for 2. Gunnar Henderson will try to be 2 for 2. First RBI, first home run of the season on a 2-0 pitch from Bybee in the first. Came out a 4-seam fastball. Same pitch he takes.
Yeah, his average fastball, and he does throw it about 40% of the time. He came in there only hitting 2 for 17, so a very low number. And we've seen him throw as hard as 97, only one time, but ratcheted up a little bit. Yeah, it's interesting when. So Gunnar comes up the end of 22, has a great series. Starts. We did the games in Cleveland. Then 23 struggles with a breaking ball. Last year, he had more home runs on breaking balls than fastballs. 18 of them on breaking balls. And 13 on fastballs, and that pitch right there hit another 6 for a total of 37 home runs.
Two-one from Bybee. That ball sizzled again to left. Kwan racing over there. He can't get to it. It's in the corner. Urias will get a stop sign at third, and Gunnar Henderson is wearing out the backside of the field. Home run and a double, and 2 trips out of the 2 spot.
You know, it's almost like Kwan kind of deked Urias into to think he could catch that ball. And the ball, of course, is slicing away from him. But Ramon doesn't get a great read, or he probably scores. So here it is, and Kwan goes over, and right there, it's almost like he slows down, like he's going to catch it, and then not even close. And that's what Urias, and that's why he doesn't score. He looked at the outfitter, didn't get a good read on the ball, which happens, and now they'll bring their infield halfway in with a 2-1 lead for Adley.
Boy, if the Orioles don't score here, what a pivotal, subtle play in the game that could be. That deke by Kwan. If Adley drives it in, forget about it. But that's a Gold Glove play that will not show up on any statistical metric. But you caught it right away. And there's a play at third, and now they get the out. How about that? Kwan saved him a run because Hedges just nabbed the napping Urias.
You know, it almost looked like a pitch out. But again, this is your spring training play right here. I mean, this is just quick throw, and you try to get back, and you can't get back in time, and boy, is it a long way to the dugout. Perfect throw, perfect tag. Huge break. Unless Adley gets a base hit, which he's certainly capable of doing. Tells you how good the changeup was. See, I mean, I think this is a play they put on. And you know, why do you do that? Because you watch Urias and you see what kind of leads he's getting, and then you practice that. You got one of the better defensive catchers, makes a perfect throw. Maybe
Austin Hedges gets an assist. Give Stephen Kwan half an assist on that too.
Well, maybe that's why they have 14 coaches. For moments like that, where you put a play on because you've read the lead, or maybe you have some kind of analytical data that says, okay, Urias gets off the bag a little bit more. There's another changeup to get back into the count.
Kai Correa, who's a very, very well-regarded young coach, is their field coordinator, director of defense. He was with the Giants under Gabe Kapler, managed the last couple of games of the season 2 years ago. He's probably pretty heavily involved in what just happened there. Gold Glove work all around. So 3-2 for Adley. And he takes ball 4, and the Orioles have 2 on with 2 out.
That's 3 walks now. And I'm not sure the way Hearn's swinging the bat, but it's almost, I didn't think I'll pitch around him. Adley was 1 for 8 with runners in scoring position, and O'Hearn, who 2 years ago hit almost 400, he's yet to get a base hit. Only his 7 at bats, so that can change.
First pitch swinging, high drive to center. Ryan likes the look of it. Thomas will watch it go. Ryan O'Hearn for the 2nd straight night. He stopped at second to be sure, but he is being waved around the bases. A first pitch 3-run home run, and the Orioles are back on top.
Well, a little bit similar to last night, where they get 2 walks. a base hit and a grand slam. Adley walks after the double by Gunnar, and then all of a sudden you got a 4 spot on the. Are they going to look at it? It appeared to me that it went over the wall. Otherwise, it looks like Lane would have caught it.
This is a crew chief review of possible home run on the call.
Possible home run?
Reminder that a home run is not a challenge play. A home run review comes from the crew chief, so this is not initiated by a Cleveland challenge. Oh, I don't know if that hit the back wall. Did that just hit the top of the fence and bounce back in play?
Well, you may be right. There it is. It's going to be a double. And now we know. Yeah, I think it hit the wall.
After review, the call on the field is confirmed. It is a home run.
Oh, but should hit the fence now off the wall right there. So it's kind of a carom, and then it comes right back up. And that's why you have challenges, folks.
Well, Jimmy, from your lips to the baseball god's ears, you said he could change an offer with runners in scoring position, and took him only 1 pitch to do so.
Well, he's been swinging the bat very well. I mean, do you think he's going to go the whole year without? I always figured at least he'll get 1 before the season. We get into September.
So that's the one. Well, that certainly takes some of the sting out of the Quan, Deke, and the Hedges pickoff. Ryan O'Hearn home runs in back-to-back games, 3 on the year. Orioles lead at 4-2. A wild first 3 innings in this rubber game.
So Beebe, as you mentioned, against the Angels throws 4. And he's working his way towards that number tonight. The Orioles with 2.
Now, if Ramon doesn't get picked off, we could have had another night with a grand slam.
Oh,
you know what that would be?
Bring the chicken wing.
Chicken wing.
I'll take one. Hey, listen, I'll take one for the club. I had 1 chicken wing and
3-1 to Westburg here.
well, this is really what the game's about. You know, you get Ramon, not good base running. They make a great play. Quan makes a great play, or he scores. Then somebody comes and picks you up.
And a chopper to shortstop. Westburg is retired. So 2 in the 3rd for Cleveland, 3 in the 3rd for Baltimore. Ryan O'Hearn with his biggest swing of the year. Hey, O's fans, Birdland memberships are available right now. And Birdland members enjoy the best seats at the best values with plans starting as low as 10 games. Select your seats and get access to exchange games, pick up concessions and merch discounts, and get playoff access. Go to Orioles.com/memberships. Ryan O'Hearn's third inning Weaver has the Orioles back on top 4-2 over the Guardians. Carlos Santana leading off and hits a ground ball down to first. One pitch, one out for Tomoyuki Sagano.
Yeah, you want Tomoyuki to probably at least get into the 6th inning. Make it a little bit easier on the bullpen. And meanwhile, of course, when that happens, your team gets to take some at bats, put more runs on the board.
Only 2 base runners, both homers, Sneeman and Hedges. And there have been 4 home runs tonight to bring in all 6 of the runs between the teams.
Well, the ball is really traveling well in this series. The wind had a lot to do with it the first night and maybe even last night. Yeah, Arias is a really good fastball hitter. Arias, with power of right center field. Hit a home run on a hanging cutter last night, the only run that Dean Kramer gave up. Big, strong guy.
Won the second base job in spring training that had been Andres Jimenez's. 3 straight Gold Glove years with Cleveland. Jimenez had come over in the Francisco Lindor trade and solidified second base, but Arias has played very well. Hits this one high in the air. That's going to go a long way to right center, and Mullins, waving his arm ferociously, hauls it in. Catch Orioles baseball anytime, anywhere on the MASN app with live games, expert analysis, and exclusive pre- and post-game interviews in the palm of your hand. Go to MASNsports.com and download it today. That guy's on the app, Gunnar Henderson. That guy's enjoying a cold beverage.
Matching his game-worn jersey.
Game worn by who, do you think?
By him.
All right, there you go. I guess every jersey becomes a game-worn jersey once you put it on.
I'll tell you what, he was a big enough guy that if he wanted my jersey, I'd have to give it to him.
You wouldn't give up your jersey that easily. Fouled away by Nolan Jones. How many of your jerseys did you get to keep from your career?
Are you kidding me? We didn't make any money, and the clubhouse man made even less.
You don't have any jerseys? No game worn?
No.
Not a single one?
No.
That's amazing. Does Cooperstown's got to have a jersey or something?
They might
right?
have the one when I pitched the no-hitter back in '69. Shoes, jersey, hat.
All right, let's call Jeff Idelson. Let's get that back in your care.
We better call Josh Rawith, new president of the league. Jeff, actually, I didn't see him, but he was supposed to be at the Cal Ripken Senior Foundation dinner. Maybe he just didn't want to.
Oh yeah, I forgot Jeff was no longer the president.
Well, then it was
He knows some people.
Tim Mead. It was, yeah. I'll tell you, one of the thrills, if you ever go to Cooperstown, if you get to go down where they keep a lot of the memorabilia, and you got to put on gloves and all that, because I mean they got Babe Ruth's cashmere coat. I mean you got all kinds of stuff, artifacts. Yeah, so 2 guys that in the big leagues have hit some home runs. Jones, as we mentioned, 20 for Colorado, and then Thomas at 28.
3-2 to the right side. Mountcastle, Sagano.
Yeah, just give him a Gold Glove now.
You're ready to call it?
Yep. Not even a contest. Make him a finalist and finally let him win.
brought to you by your Baltimore area Toyota dealers. It's game on at Toyota. Visit your local Baltimore area Toyota dealer or check out buyatoyota.com. Another beautiful night here in Baltimore, April the 17th. And the Orioles searching for their first series win of the year. They've put in the work offensively so far with home runs from Henderson and O'Hearn against Tanner Bybee. Heston Kjerstad pulls one to second. Time now for our PNC Insights presented by PNC Bank. Brilliantly boring since 1865. We're going to get a little bat speed swing nerdy here. Orioles swinging the 5th fastest average bat in the league. And then some of the new metrics from last year. Squared up rate per contact. And then blasts per swing or blasts per contact. What you need to know is the Orioles are very, very good at swinging the bat fast, which usually results in higher exit velocity. There's Cody Ashe. And then squared up contact. A squared up ball basically means it hits the sweet spot of the bat. Mountcastle pops one into right here. And he is retired. So you can be swinging it slow or hard. If you square it up, it's basically a different term for the old sweet spot. You're getting close to the maximum exit velocity out of the ball, and then a blast is that perfect combination of a fast swing and hitting the ball on the optimal spot. So if you're judging the contact, Jim, where the Orioles are hitting the ball, how fast they're swinging, there are a lot of good things to like in the numbers.
Well, and they are, and they're 9th in the Major League, or at least in the American League, in runs scored. So you'd like to think that maybe that's an aberrational number. But the one number they obviously have to do better, especially they're a little over 100, and that is in losses. So be a little more consistent, and the offense will get back to where it was in the first half of last season.
4-2 game will go to the 5th here in Baltimore. Big swings for the Orioles tonight. A 4-2 lead. Gunnar Henderson's 2 for 2, a home run and a double. Ryan O'Hearn with a 3-run job in the 3rd inning. Great night to enjoy some sweet treats. And watch the Orioles hopefully win a series. Lane Thomas with a little English on that ground ball. And Henderson's had a terrific two-way game.
Yeah, Tamayuki, we had nice little move to let it, actually Tamayuki. He tries to field that ball, goes off. It's a base hit. Let it go. It's not hit very hard. You know it's not going to get up the middle. And then Gunnar Henderson throws him out at first.
We're to third now for Sagano.
Now this is a guy you got to be careful about. He had a rare home run the last time up.
Schneemann went into last season with a career .695 OPS in the minor leagues, but we just talked about bat speed an inning ago. He upped his bat speed. He made some swing adjustments to keep his barrel in the zone for longer. He's also gained a lot of muscle the last few years. So that's what that kind of training can do. And the Orioles are one of the best teams at it. They're high intensity, high speed bat training. Schneemann's turned his career around with some of that.
Yeah.
Look at that bat control. Hanging in on the splitter. He's going to go for two. No, he's not. He'll go back to first.
Yeah, he knows the scoreboard. He's been around long enough to know down by 2 with 1 out, you do not want to get thrown out by Hurstad. Now, the other thing is when he comes around first base, the play's in front of him. So he can see how quickly Heston Hurstad gets to the ball. And we've seen him make some throws. So right here, he's thinking two. No. And he knows he better get back. And the other thing he knows is Hedges is 1 for 1 with a home run.
Right.
He really had I mean, obviously it ended well because he had a home run, but he had a couple of home run swings before he hit the home run. So when you're Sagano and you're 35 and you know, you've been one of the best pitchers in the history of the Central League in Japan, make some better pitches. And the other thing is, by keeping him at first, you set up the double play.
Hedges to right. O'Hearn, second start of the year out there, will make the catch. Well, an unusual thing for Sagano in that third inning last year, where he dominated in Japan, 167 ERA, won his third Central League MVP. He went the entirety of the season without allowing a home run the first time through the order. And he had not allowed a home run the first time through the order in his first 4 major league starts. So Sagano, it's at the first time since at least 2023, Schneemann and Hedges home runs where he's allowed a home run the first time through the order.
Of course, he is in the big leagues now, which is why he came over here. I mean, when you go 15-3, as we mentioned, ERA in the 1.6s, a little bit over 1.5 runs a game, and you have a chance to come over here, which he does because the Orioles give him a nice contract, and you want a bigger challenge, here he is.
Had tested the waters after 2020. But went back to the Yomiuri Giants, signed a team-friendly contract there. That was a team that had been managed by his uncle Tatsunori Hara early in his career. Was a legendary player, manager in Japan. Ball and a strike for Rocchio. Just missed with a cutter.
Yeah, so you can see the attempt is just to stay on the corners.
Drew French said a couple of weeks ago, hitters expect him to control the bottom of the zone a lot. He's effective when he can elevate purposefully too, but he's been pretty good at the bottom of the zone today. So can you mix that with some quality pitches up top?
Well, to do that, you got to have these counts. You got to have the 2 strikes counts. And you know, you and I were talking before the game. The one thing at least he hasn't done before tonight is with 2 strikes, league average is 162. He's 370. So that's 208 points higher. But that's not going to stay that way. There's just no way in the world.
2 strikes here. It's going to go up right now, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, I'll take that back.
You are just calling so many things. This is a real Nostradamus night for you.
What?
You basically called both home runs. You're all over it. As Rocchio was all over this 2-strike splitter for the Guardians' fourth hit.
And why was he able to hit it? Because it wasn't as good as the pitch to Kwan. It just stayed up a little bit. You got a guy that's a contact hitter trying to get on base. And how do you do that? You don't swing through the ball. I mean, that's the one thing the Guardians do very well. They do not strike out a whole lot. What did Kramer had last night? 5 2/3, 2 strikeouts.
Sagano has 1, and it's against Kwan. Guardians, if you go back to the start of 2023, they have the lowest strikeout total in Major League Baseball. They have the 12th lowest strikeout rate this year.
And they get up for the 3rd time already in the 5th inning here. And you want a kind of a frightening number. 3rd time through the order, and this is what they look at. The opposition is what, 4 for 7? That's 571. So Kwan gets to see him now for the 3rd time.
2 on, 2 out, 2-run game. And a 2-0 pitch hit to right. He got the splitter, he popped it up, and Tomoyuki Sagano is through 5 for the 2nd time in the big leagues. Our Getting Dirty replay brought to you by Zips Cleaners. 3rd inning, Stephen Kwan deked out Ramon Urias, who stopped at second and could not score on this double by Gunnar Henderson. And then 2 pitches later, Austin Hedges picked him off at 3rd for the 2nd out. Ramon's going to need to zips it when you want to look your best for less. Zips it. Visit one of our 40+ locations in the DMV. The Orioles would score 3, but hey, it could have been 4. It could be a critical run saved. And a 4-2 Oriole lead as Ramon takes a strike from Tanner Bybee. The good news is he got on again, and Ramon has done just about nothing but reach base this year. His on-base percentage .395 coming in. He has walked now 6 times and struck out 6 times.
Well, you really have to make good pitches. You know, I was watching him hit today. A very simple batting stance, slightly open, gives you a better view. Watch the left foot, it'll come back towards home plate. So he covers the plate. He's, you know, I mean, the prototypical right center, left center guy. If you make a mistake, it speeds the bat up. And we've seen him drive balls to right center field. So again, you can get him out. Same thing with any hitter, but you better not be in the middle of the plate. You better make your pitches.
This has actually been the highest pull rate of Ramon's career. He's pulling 31% of balls. His average is 24. It's the least we've seen him go to the opposite field, but that tool is very much still in the toolbox, and we'll probably see more of that as he gets more and more swings this year.
When I was doing, what do they call it? The Saturday you guys were up in Toronto. We did
the Utah Street block
party. Yeah, the block party. I was with Melanie. We were talking to the people in the stands, and didn't he hit a double, bases loaded double to right center field up in Toronto?
And you probably wondered why everybody was cheering so loud.
Well, they turned you off, and then they just kind of watched him run around the bases. It was one of the really great moments of this season so far.
Because they turned me off, or because he ran around the bases?
A little bit of both. No, seriously. I
know you're being serious.
Well, no, I don't. I'm only joking about that. But I said to the people, because our back was to the scoreboard here where they were showing it, and I said, "What just happened?" They said, "Oh, three-run double." Oh. What would he call?
Wait a minute. Is that a strikeout call by Ryan Anady? That is the subtlest strikeout call I've ever seen.
It was a little late. Well, remember when I said he had a big strike zone? That kind of changed till that pitch right there.
Ramon's halfway down to first before he realized he was out.
Wait, it's a little late call.
I'm not sure Ryan knew that was strike 3. Enrico Palazzo, he is not.
The moonwalks backwards.
Your colleague Enrico Palazzo.
Yeah, exactly. One of the movie classics I was in. Not exactly a starring role,
but a memorable one.
Well, it was a huge game.
Yeah,
six broadcasters. Very much like we have up
you, Vital, Enberg, McCarver.
We're
we're referencing the Naked Gun, by the way, for all the youths out there.
Kurt Gaddy. I was hugging him.
And Dr. Joyce
Brothers. We had our own psychologist, very much like what we have up here for you. We always had a shrink in the back of the.
We do.
Just in case you have a moment.
No, that's Mike. He's the camera.
Well, yeah, Mike could do it all. And who out there was? Mel Allen. Come on. The Mel Allen.
The Mel Allen. I haven't had a chance to ask you this yet. I guess I haven't asked you yet. I'll ask it after the next pitch unless something exciting happens. I'll leave you in suspense.
Double to left center field here.
All right, 3-2. Did you know there's a Naked Gun remake coming out this year, starring Liam Neeson? Were you aware of this?
No.
The first trailer dropped, so they didn't ask you to return?
Not yet.
I think it's done filming, so maybe we can get you in the post. 3-2. What do we think? Is it a walk? We're waiting.
No.
We're waiting. And Cedric will take his base.
So that's 4 walks, which matches his last game. Actually, his last game against Kansas City. All it does is get the pitch count up, and it allows somebody that can steal a base. And the other thing is, when you know a guy can steal, if you do not speed your windup, a couple of weeks ago we did the Cal Ripken Sr. thing. Mike Messina was there. Didn't matter if you couldn't run against Mike because he could speed his windup and have it exactly the same as if there was nobody on base. Not too many guys could do that.
Bybee career has only allowed 15 steals and 24 tries, so a 38% caught stealing rate. Very, very strong. He also had 5 pickoffs a year ago, one behind Charlie Morton for the major league lead. And there's a pickoff throw that's high. Now, Cleveland has a starting pitcher who's even tougher to run on. Remember Logan Allen, and Mullins did steal a base off of him Tuesday.
Yeah, but he's left-handed, so that's not unfair. That's not fair to compare.
He's going. That's popped up foul. Hedges is going to run out of room.
Really good jump. Would have stolen it, but again, it was a changeup. I think Gunnar thought he could hit hard somewhere, but popped it up.
Now Gunner's been hitting the ball hard everywhere. Home run to left center, double to the left field corner his first 2 times. Now 4 hits, 3 for extra bases in the series. Said holding steady, and there's a breaking ball fouled away.
Yeah, I'm not sure that I would be taking any 2-strike pitches that are anywhere close.
Well, here are the hard hit balls we're referencing. The last 6 balls in play have been hit 101 or harder. And again, now he's starting to elevate it. Now it's really looking scary for opposing pitchers. Uh-oh, he got him. Mullins never even made it back to the base. And the first pickoff of the year for Tanner Bybee.
Well, quick feet, and you're supposed to take a step. What he does, he brings his pitching foot, the back foot, the right foot, he brings it forward and then almost does the junk move. What's the right foot? See, I mean, that's really not a discernible step, but he gets away with it, and not even close.
And now 2 down. And 2-2 for Shutter.
Where was that pitch?
Was that what you're asking or what you think he was asking?
Yeah, well, I think everybody. Gunnar was probably saying, I'll just go get my glove. Gets another chance here.
So Bybee 4 2/3 on Friday against Kansas City. Walked 4, struck out 4, didn't allow a run. Trying to get through 5 here. Again with 4 walks and 4 strikeouts. And there's the 5th strikeout on a changeup. So Mullins apprehended at first after a walk. We're through 5 at the ballpark, and the O's still lead it 4-2. Against the Reds, the first 15,000 fans receive an Orioles hockey jersey modeled by home run hitter Ryan O'Hearn and presented by Lido Pizza. Orioles.com/tickets. Reds are playing well. Old friend Austin Hayes hit another home run today. Cincinnati beat the Mariners. Actually, no, they lost in 10 to the Mariners, but 9-10 after a slow start.
Yeah, they've been pitching great, and offense been a little bit of a struggle. A lot of 1 and 2-0 wins and losses.
We're going to see Hunter Green on Saturday, who's got a .98.
Well,
Andrew Abbott tomorrow, Nick Lodolo Sunday.
Check out all those earned run averages. Abbott just got back, and a left-handed, and Lodolo another lefty, and Hunter Green. If you look at the metrics, arguably the best pitcher in baseball at the moment. Former #1 draft choice out of high school. Come on. I mean, this guy is really having a bad night. That curveball is pretty much right down the middle. Big difference between being obviously 3-0 and 2-1.
Zagano has the sign he likes, attacking Jose Ramirez. Strike. 2 groundouts for Jose tonight. Santana and Arias to follow. All quiet on the bullpen front for the Orioles.
Such a dangerous hitter. 39 home runs last year.
Line to third. Urias is all over it.
Oh, that glove glistens. Gold Glove winner. way off the line because of the score and just snags it before it hits grass out left. Only 100 miles per hour.
Try that one for Jose under H. H for hang with him. 0 for 3, tough luck. But Sagano's retired the first batter, 5 of 6 innings. Santana 2 ground outs. Deep fly ball to center here. Mullins will get to it.
Wow. Softly hit the first 2 here in the 6th. Well, you walk into a ballpark if you're a pitcher and you go, where do you want it hit? Not down the lines. So again, I mean, Santana, as you mentioned, over what, 300 lifetime home runs, and Mullins just makes it, playing deep makes it look really easy.
So now Gabriel Arias. Not a lot of first pitch strikes for Sagano tonight. He's been behind most of the hitters 1-0, and yet he has not walked anybody. Only the one strikeout, that was Kwan. And he's ahead 0-2 here.
Okay, make a good pitch here. Bring the guys up and score some more runs.
Well, he's got a new major league high in his 4th start, 5 2/3. One pitch away from getting through 6. Struck him out swinging.
Well, that's what you talked about. Get ahead, you can elevate out of the zone. If you're behind, you got to throw strikes, become more hittable. Terrific pitch, perfect pitch. Once you go 0-2, 4-2 Orioles.
Weekend. Check out another one of the most exciting shortstops in the game, Ellie De La Cruz and the Cincinnati Reds. 3-game series begins tomorrow night, Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. Great giveaways, including tomorrow night's Orioles hockey jersey. Orioles.com/tickets for more. Get feathered up. 4-2 lead for the Birds. Adley Rutschman taking up and away against Tanner Bybee. Game 5 of an 8-game homestand here at Camden Yards. Orioles have split the first 4. By the way, special night here at the ballpark as the Orioles are celebrating a night I know that it's important to you, Rob Long, a lot of folks and friends of ours, Autism Acceptance Night. And Andy Koska, the Baltimore Banner, wrote a wonderful piece today about Rob, who does great work for us. He's at the game tonight with his son Robbie. And then you and your wife Susan, a very special young man in your life as well.
Spencer, who actually, I was telling Andy, I said, you know, you weren't here, but Spencer actually, when they did the statue ceremonies, ran out on the field and introduced me. He was 15 at the time. People say, you're not really going to let him do that. And I go, no, he wants to. Let's hear it for number 22. Still the greatest, still the most amazing. That's exactly what he told me to say. And then ran off the field.
That's so great.
But the highlight, of course, he knows everything in the world about trains. We took him up to Strasburg, which is one of the famous, historical rail, up in Pennsylvania. And then the next day over to the B&O Railroad Museum here, when they actually had a kid with autism that worked there. And then he got to drive one of the trains coming back into the B&O Museum, not too really too far from Camden Yards. So he had a nice trip.
Down to first from Rutschman. Santana takes it to the bag. Yeah, I hope folks read the piece. Spencer, for people who don't know, you married your wife Susan. Spencer became a part of your family, and I know you've told me about his love for trains. I didn't realize till reading today that he can see a train, know the make, know the model, the year. So it must be incredible for you to watch him grow.
Well, really, and if a train comes across the TV, we call him. There was a TV show with Stephen Van Sant, Lilliput, and in the opening scene, a train comes out of a tunnel in a snowy field, and he comes through the living room. We go, "Where is that?" He goes, "Lilliput." And he just knows, because he's seen it, photographic memory. But the article, I thought it was very impactful because it just, 1 out of every 27 boys in Maryland has autism. So something's going on. And, a little bit closer to home, B.J. Surhoff, this is 25th year of his Pathfinders Foundation, and his son Mason has autism. And they've helped over 230,000 people here. Obviously, they're not the only people in Maryland doing it. Kennedy Krieger and a lot of people. So again, it's acceptance, it's awareness, it's compassion. You have a lot of people, because autistic kids sometimes can have certain mannerisms, and I just tell them, go home, Google it, and you'll see that. And then if you have on the other side of the coin, if you have and I have 2 healthy girls, if you have kids and maybe they act out a little bit, just embrace the fact that they're more normal than anybody with autism. Because I'll tell you what, if you live in the world of autism, it's 24/7, most likely, not for everybody, but most likely for the rest of your life. So you have to be able to make a commitment to be the ideal parent.
Well, job very well done by you and Susan. Wonderful young man,
Well,
Spencer.
yeah.
There's a ground ball base hit. O'Hearn into right field. Ryan O'Hearn continues a very nice Thursday night with a 3-run home run and now a base hit.
Yeah, I think any parent that has a child with autism, it's a very unique, really struggle you have to live with, and you have to make that commitment. We all talk about parenting. You're going through this with little Emma. In a sense, you have to be there for her, and she'll go to get married at one point, go to college, do all those kind of things. And for parents that have autism in their family, that usually doesn't happen. Don't get to see them graduate. Don't get to see a lot of problems. So Jacob Junis getting loose. We saw him warm up last night. So it's just nice that Major League Baseball also makes April the autism month.
By the way, Rob came up here before the game, Rob and his son Robbie, and Rob did text me after the Gunnar home run. He said, Robbie was asked who's going to hit one deep. He said Gunnar. So Robbie was all over it. He called the home run in the first inning, as you did. 2 strikes on Westberg here. Orioles leading at 4-2, 6th inning. Deep in the hole at short. Nice play by Rocchio to get 1. And lead out O'Hearn at second. Rob and Robbie, there they are at the game tonight. Great picture down the third base line.
I guess growing up, he was a wrestler.
Yes. Yeah. Found that out today. Robbie loves flags, knows everything about flags. So he's been involved in a whole lot of different activities, and great to see he and Rob here tonight. 0-1 Heston Kjerstad. Orioles leading 4-2. One thing folks may have noticed, because it's Autism Acceptance Night, some things the Orioles doing differently. No fireworks after home runs. Volume's a little bit lower in the park. Not going to see a light show if Felix Bautista comes in the ninth. So just a few things to consider for folks who need that different sensory experience. And there is a sensory room here at Oriole Park as well.
Well, Kjerstad can still hit a home run. We won't celebrate it with fireworks, but Orioles will celebrate it with a couple of runs on the board. Still waiting to see him hit one.
Oh,
good.
boy.
Yeah, there you go.
That is going to be way out of here. Kjerstad crushes one. Second home run of the homestand. The Orioles' third tonight. You can imagine the fireworks, because the Orioles are bringing the thunder to Tanner Bybee this evening.
Now, about 3 springs ago, I walked into Brandon Hyde's office in spring training down in Sarasota, and I said, what do you think about Kjerstad? He said he's got enough power to hit 35, 40 home runs, and you saw the power right there. You saw the defense last night. So for the second consecutive night, the Orioles hit, at least for the moment, 3 home runs. 6-2 now. Orioles lead it.
So Tanner Bybee, scoreless start, gave up 7. Scoreless start, gave up 6. Silent J. Not been much of a silent homestand for him. Three home runs each of the last 2 nights for the Orioles. Heston Kjerstad off a changeup, 400-footer into the right center field seats. He joins Henderson and O'Hearn in the book, and look at where these hits tonight were.
Yeah, didn't want to throw it there. I mean, really does have a good changeup, but when you make a mistake, you speed up the bat. I think the league is going to find out that we saw it with a split against Toronto where he hit a home run.
High to center for Mountcastle. That'll give the crowd a momentary jolt. Jacob Junis with the first pitch out. So 3 left-handed hitters have homered tonight. The Orioles have more runs than hits. soon with us. Star Wars weekend coming to Camden Yards May 2nd through the 4th. Friday, May 2nd, first 20,000 fans get a Colton Cowser Star Wars bobblehead. He looks suspiciously like Ewan McGregor's Obi-Wan Kenobi. Sunday, May 4th, first 20,000 fans get a Gunnar Henderson Star Wars bobblehead. Go to Orioles.com/tickets. It will be a wonderful weekend at the ballpark.
That's kind of your motto, isn't it?
Oh,
do,
yeah.
do or do not. There is no try.
Yes.
Yes.
Well done, Jedi Master Jim. 3-game series with the Royals. All kinds of fun Star Wars stuff planned for those games. And the bobbleheads, which look great. Colton and Gunnar, who have their annual Star Wars Lego competition, will both be immortalized. Ground ball to first. Mountcastle. This time he couldn't collect it cleanly, and then he hit the runner. Pow! Right in the kisser.
He might have got him somewhere in the groin area.
He's trying not
I'm
to
trying to
laugh.
apologize. Well, hey, how dare you get a base hit?
You know, we're laughing because we know.
Well, he's a big guy, big target. So again, smothers it, and well, why not throw it? And drills him in the stomach.
Oh gosh.
You know how many times I wanted to do that when a guy got a hit off me? But now you just tell your first baseman, as you mentioned, it's a big guy. But again, we're in the 7th, first time he's done that. Aiken, who threw, 11 pitches last night. I mean, it was lights out. He's up in the bullpen throwing.
Sagano, his 80th pitch is inside of Thomas. It is his first time this deep.
You know, I was kind of looking today when you look at Tomoyuki's pitch count per inning, 16.8. That's going to, and it has, that's probably going to get down into the 15s because he's, again, a control artist. There's that inside corner.
Thomas lined out on a 3-0 pitch in the second, grounded out to short in the 5th. Breaking ball grounded to shortstop. That's one. That is 2.
Well, there you go.
Couldn't have guided it much better.
No. Well, you couldn't have made a better pitch. You know, you always talk about, I mean, calls it a sweeper. Looks like a slider to me, down and away. You want to figure out what can I throw to get a ground ball. Well, he got it. Easy double play.
And that's 20 the Orioles have turned in 18 games. Tied for the 3rd most in the majors coming in, and a breaking ball strike to Schneemann. 3rd time through the order. Some hard contact, but the Guardians are just 1 for 6. And now with those outs, Sagano has the longest start for an Orioles pitcher this season.
Well, that's what they hoped he was able to do. You know, the ham cramp up in Toronto, he had to leave right before the 5th inning. He's really been consistent. Now, is he going to be a guy that lights up the radar gun? Not going to happen. Doesn't need to.
Did he go? No.
But you're at least seeing tonight a pitcher that's much more comfortable.
Schneemann has 2 of the 4 Cleveland, now 2 of the 5 Cleveland hits. Sagano trying to get him to end the night. 1-2. And again, Schneemann is able to hold up on the breaker.
Yeah, well, I hit a low fastball for the home run, and then poked a splitter that stayed up into left field. So you would think if you're coming in, and with this count, you can come in, but come way in, and they're going away, of course.
Struck him out.
That'll certainly work, won't it?
Tomoyuki Sagano may have just had his welcome to the big leagues moment. 7 strong in his 4th career start. Jacob Junis with a changeup up and away to Jackson Holiday as we begin the home seventh. Celebratory mood at the park tonight. Orioles got a first inning home run from Gunnar Henderson. Trailed after back-to-back homers by Daniel Schneemann and Austin Hedges in the third, then took the lead back in the bottom of the inning. They've led ever since, and Jackson Holiday has his second hit of the series with a poked single off of Jacob Junis.
Well, that's what he did in the minor leagues. And, you know, again, I mean, the 2 home runs have been to the opposite field. They were smoked. And again, I mean, you have to match the plane of the baseball, and that's exactly what he did. Looked like, I don't know, maybe a changeup or something. You know, the one thing, I mean, Junis, he signed all the way back in, what, 2011? It was the 876 pick out of Rock Falls, Illinois, high school. He's been a starter. He's been a reliever. Been around at age 32.
Junis inside to Ramon Urias. Tanner Bybee 5 2/3, 5 hits, 6 earned, 4 walks, 5 Ks, 3 homers. So a rocky night for him. And now Junis, who gave up that 6th Oriole hit to Jackson Holiday.
And he's not a hard thrower. You could see, I mean, his fastball, it's a sinker, 89. You know, he's got a slider, he's got a changeup. But he doesn't want to be in hitters counts like he's gotten himself in.
Well, check on this for Jackson. He still doesn't have a pulled hit this season.
That's
his 12 hits is coming in. All been to the middle or the opposite field.
Well, ask his dad how many times you try to. I mean, his dad hit a lot of home runs, but you try to pull everything, boy, you're going to roll over. You're not going to have productive at bats. And again, I think you know he hasn't figured out how to hit in the big leagues, but
and he's thrown out here by Hedges, who's cut down 2 behind the plate.
Well, you see why. I mean, he homered tonight, but he's in for his glove and his pitch calling. It's a perfect throw. Pop time is how quickly you catch the ball and throw it. Check this out. Boom. And then right on the money. If the throw's either right or left, probably going to beat it. But a perfect throw. And if the throw's to the second base side of the bag, you can, if you're an infielder, you can just wait for the ball to come and drop the glove, which is exactly what happened. If it's on the other side, you have to actually go get it and then bring it back. Much harder to tag a base runner.
Walking a strikeout for Ramon. He's been in a full count every time tonight. This is going to be the 21st pitch he sees in the game. And he'll see a 22nd. Former Red, you mentioned Jacob Junis' journey a bit, finished really strong last year with a 1.44 ERA in his final 5 starts. Mostly a starter for his first 6 seasons, reliever for the last 3. To third, fair ball, and a bobble by Arias. He had maybe just a sliver of a play because of the arm, but it would have had to be perfect in every way. And it'll be an infield single for Ramon.
And then he had to throw it over Tony Mansolino, the Orioles third base coach's head. So right there, that's going to preclude from throwing him out.
And that'll be the night for Junis. Tim Herron, well rested lefty, will come on to face the top of the Orioles lineup.
in, and now our Jiffy Lube pitching change brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We introduced the 15-minute oil change that includes over 15 courtesy services. Get more in a Jiffy. Well, good start for Herron. What a year he had last year. 75 games, 5-1. Best bullpen in the American League were the Guardians. And again, a lot of strikeouts, more than one an inning. ERA really low, as I mentioned. And only 39 hits in 65 2/3 innings. Hard thrower, slider, curveball, fastball 94 to 95. And then the deception factor. Throws across his body. He's 6'5". And another guy, 29th round.
Isn't that amazing? Back-to-back 29th rounders in the game. Mullins pops out. Here's how good the Guardians bullpen was last year. Tim Herron had the 5th best ERA among American League relievers, and he had the 4th best ERA in the Cleveland bullpen. You had Clase, who had the 3rd best ERA for a reliever in Major League history. Zach Britton, by the way, in 2016 had the best. Cade Smith was 4th. Hunter Gaddis, we haven't seen in this series, was 3rd. So throw Kirby Yates in there. Everybody else in the top 5, Cleveland relievers. But in the postseason, they just pitched so much, and the bullpen got a little worn down by the Yankees, who beat him in 5.
And there's 96, and well, that's what happens. ORIOLERS knows. We're looking at him, and he was a bullpenner, for the Twins when they won in 91, beat Atlanta. So, hey, well, Kurt Schilling said a lot of things, but whenever he said you want to look at a team that's usually going to be at the top of the leaderboard, it's the team that gets the most out of their starters, inning-wise.
And it was understandable on one hand why Cleveland, who had a pretty mediocre rotation, wanted to keep going to the bullpen as there's Gaddis. But I mean, Herron pitched in 9 of the 10 games in the postseason last year. Cade Smith threw in 9 of the 10 games. These guys were just beat up all 5 of the division series. So the stuff was not the same. Clase obviously had a tough postseason, and you can only go so far when your starters keep getting pulled in the 3rd and 4th inning.
Well, the Shane Bieber, hopefully he will get better. That injury, having to have Tommy John, and another ball hit hard, right at the second baseman.
So Herring gets a couple of outs, and we go to the 8th with the Orioles on top by 4.
Well, Tamayuki Sugano trying to run his record to 2-1. Boy, he was good early on. One little spell, back-to-back home runs. Other than that, strike thrower, made a great pitch to get out of the last inning for a double play and a chance to again win, and gives the Orioles a chance to do something they hadn't done all year long, win a series and also win back-to-back games.
Longest start by an Oriole this season in game number 18, and he'll give way to Keegan Aiken, who was dominant in the 9th inning yesterday.
Yeah, just because it's going to be the second time that he's pitched in back-to-back games. Did it on the 12th and 13th against Toronto.
Austin Hedges pops his first pitch up.
Yeah, he was as good as he's ever been last night. Perfect pitches, great changeup, great sliders. Of course, he's certainly capable. 3-pitch pitcher, former starter. Laureano comes in for defense.
Handle Hurds out of the game.
Yep.
Kerstad over to right.
Well, Ryan's a little tired. Single and a 3-run home run.
Sure.
So get some rest.
That home run certainly takes a lot out of you.
Running all around the bases.
Right.
Skipping around the bases. I mean, I had 3 home runs. If I had a 3-run home run, I probably would skip around the bases.
You must have hit a 3-run home run before.
No, I hit 2-run home runs. One off my first major league win against Jim Bouton, you know, the famous author.
Yeah. Did he write about that in Baltimore?
No, I think he might.
I don't remember that part.
Might have skipped that.
1-1 to Rocchio. That's up high.
Well, I played for Hank Bauer, and you know, Hank was our manager and played the Yankees. We were playing the Yankees on a Sunday afternoon, and if you had a man on, he'd give you the hit sign, at least maybe, because especially if you could hit a little bit. And he did. I just hit a fly ball to right field, and next thing you know, we had 2 runs. And then 25 years later, Bob Costas, I was on his radio show. He played the radio of Joe Garagiola describing the home run. Boyer sneaking in at third, Pepinum creeping in at first. Here's the pitch to 19-year-old Jim Palmer. It's a high drive to right field. Jim Palmer has just homered to right center field. If he had pulled that ball, you would have had to pick up Clete Boyer with a spatula. That's how close they were to home plate. That's typical Joe Garagiola.
Boy, exactly. There's Sir Anthony Dominguez, who is on 3 days rest. Figures to factor in the end game somewhere here, but not right now. Aiken with another strikeout. He had a couple in the 9th yesterday, and he gets Rocchio looking tonight.
Yeah, Stephen Rocchio thought it was low. And it probably was. Ryan Addison says, "You're a little guy."
Two down for Kwan. So Keegan Aiken's retired all 5 in this series. At the moment, his ERA sits .279. And a swing and a miss by Kwan. That's the 3rd swing and miss by Kwan in the game.
Well, that was a home run swing. You know, the home run he hit off of Charlie Morton was a fastball inside half. And it just made a good swing on it. It just trying to get the barrel of the bat to, and he did. That was Leave Earth swing.
Popped up by Kwan, shallow left. Laureano, the defensive replacement. Oh, couldn't get there despite a slide.
Yeah, I thought he was probably going to catch that. I'm not saying he should have, because they were playing him exactly where they should, which is shallow down the left field line. I mean, everybody shifted around, but a long run. Luckily, the ball curls foul, slices foul.
Well, we've told you what a tough guy Kwan is to strike out. Aiken 1 strike away. Kwan fights it off. His career high for swings and misses in a game is 5. Only twice Kwan had more than 3 whiffs in the same game. He's got 3 tonight, 2 on the Sagano splitter, and 1 on the Aiken slider a couple of pitches ago.
And he hit 14 home runs last year. So even with a short swing, contact swing.
There's the short stroke to stay alive.
Well, one of the shortest strokes in baseball was what, Luis Ariz?
Yeah, he has the shortest swing of anybody. Ariz. Kwan is
in bat speed about
close.
What average bat speed 72. He's 66, and he wins batting titles. Oh.
Kwan, the 3rd slowest average bat speed. It's Ariz, Jacob Wilson of the A's, who's off to a nice start, and then Kwan. 3-2. Aiken trying to get him by any means here, and Kwan will just jam it into right. An inside slider. He pulls for a 2-out base hit. This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Orioles. May not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. The accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. So Keegan Aiken gets the Orioles within 4 outs of the finish line. And Sir Anthony Dominguez will take over to face Jose Ramirez. Power on power when we come back to the park. The Orioles against the Reds tomorrow at 7:05. The first 15,000 fans receive an O's hockey jersey presented by Lido Pizza. Go to Orioles.com/tickets. You can suit up with a hockey jersey tomorrow and suit up this season at MLBshop.com all year long. The largest selection of authentic jerseys, caps, hoodies, t-shirts, and more. It's the official source for your Baltimore Orioles gear.
So Sir Anthony Dominguez against Ramirez, 1 for 2 lifetime with a home run. And again, he's hadn't pitched in, as you mentioned, 4 days. Hasn't allowed a hit in his last 6 innings. Inning in the 3rd against the Jays on the 13th of April. Fastball slider. High velocity guy. And he's going to find out the strike zone can be a little tight most of the time.
On the runner at first, 6-2 Orioles, and a mighty rip.
98.
Well, it was a very similar scenario the last time these two met. August 3rd last year, Orioles led 7-2 in the 8th, and Ramirez hit a 2-run home run to score Kwan off of Dominguez. 6-2 here, and Ramirez is not even in the same city as that splitter.
Yeah, well, again, I mean, it's a pitch. He didn't throw a lot of them last year, but when you swing through 98 in the split, the good one looks exactly the same. and the bottom drops out. That's how you're one of the better hitters in baseball, and you swing right through it. Now, he has no idea what's coming here.
Struck him out, another splitter.
Boy, those are all-time splits.
The bat ends up by first base, and Ramirez's pride ends up somewhere in the inner harbor.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, take a look at this swing, because you'll never see it again. That's how good that pitch was against one of the better hitters in baseball.
To 100, but I don't know if we've ever seen anything nastier than this. Check out that wide finger splitter grip, and the bat for Ramirez went sailing. You mentioned it's a new pitch for him. He just started throwing the splitter this year. He'd always thrown a changeup, so he had only thrown 2 splitters on the season, which means Sir Anthony Dominguez had only thrown 2 splitters in a regular season game in his career. He just broke it out against Jose Ramirez and made Ramirez look as silly as you'll ever see on back-to-back pitches.
Oh, no, you never see Jose chase like that. But again, it's a pitch, as you mentioned, he doesn't throw. So you're late on 98, and that's understandable. And then again, you don't want to speed the bat up, but if you throw a pitch like that appears to be a strike and you can't really tell the difference, there's a nice breaking ball from Heron to Natalie Rudgman. That's how you get those kind of swings. I mean, it looks pretty much right down the middle, outside middle.
All I'm saying is if those Sir Anthony splitters don't show up on the social media accounts of our friend Rob Friedman, aka Pitching Ninja, Rob should probably just shut the thing down for a little while. That was some pure filth, man. Cleveland going back to the bullpen. Hunter Gaddis in the 8th. Upcoming schedules brought to you by Science and Kurt. Need a lawyer? Contact Science and Kurt. Visit youhavealawyer.com. Kate Povich, Andrew Abbott will kick off a series with the Cincinnati Reds tomorrow night. TBA very well could be Brandon Young making his big league debut. We'll see about that against Hunter Green Saturday. And then Charlie Morton, Nick Lodolo is the matchup Sunday. Orioles and Reds coming up after they finish this one with Hunter Gaddis and the Guardians.
Yeah, only 78 games last year. He was their primary setup guy to Emmanuel Clase.
And Ramon Laureano's first step out of the night. He was the defensive replacement for Ryan O'Hearn.
Well, he pinch hit last night and hit a home run, his first of the year. And he will play 2 out of the next 3 games, I would imagine. There's a changeup. One thing about Gaddis, he loves his slider, and why not? Only hitting 154. Throws it about almost 2/3 of the pitches he throws. Fastball about 95. Big guy, 6'6", 250.
Another slider. And Rocchio retires Ramon. So O'Hearn goes in and gets a strikeout. June is 2/3 of an inning, 2 hits, but the Orioles got to Tanner Bybee. Only 5 hits and 5 2/3, but 3 of the 5 were home runs, plus a double, plus 4 walks. So they really made their good at-bats count. And now Jordan trying to snap out of this 0 for 23.
There's 95.
Looks like the Orioles will have the big man out there for the 9th inning. Seen Felix Bautista warming up a couple of times the last few days. 4 days rest. He's going to be out there for the 9th.
Kind of interesting in the sense that they have not, and I've talked about not using him on back-to-back nights. So it's a non-save situation. You know, it has to be 3 runs or less. Does that mean he's not available for tomorrow night? So now you also, I guess it's kind of a double-edged sword. You want him to pitch.
He keeps getting on 3 to 4 days rest because the Orioles have only had 1 save situation despite 7 wins. So it'll be Felix in the 9th inning trying to close the Orioles' first series win. Well, the Orioles have been treading water for a few weeks. They get a chance for their first back-to-back wins, their first series win, and they'll try to do so behind Felix Bautista.
Yeah, came in on Saturday and got his first save of the year. Probably threw the best slider of his career, and as you mentioned, first time he's ever struck somebody out, and that was Bo Bichette, who had a great series for the Jays. So non-save situation. The last thing that Brandon Hyde wants is for him to have to throw a lot of pitches. And of course, if you're the Cleveland Guardians, that's exactly what you want to do. Santana, who's got a great eye, will lead it off.
Keegan Aiken, 2/3 of an inning, a hit, a strikeout through 16 pitches, 11 strikes, and then Sir Anthony Dominguez faced one batter, struck him out, 5 pitches and 3 strikes to Jose Ramirez. And now the heart of the order against Bautista. What a great night it was for Tomoyuki Sugano, 7 strong, no walks, gave up a couple of runs, struck out 3. And now the mountain to try to send us home.
Wow.
And he hits the bricks.
Yeah, 95. Yeah, Tomoyuki did exactly what you want to do if you throw home runs. Solos. All they are single runs.
Only 4 strikeouts for Bautista, 20 batters faced this year. Santana pulls one for a base hit.
Yeah, the velocity has been down. I mean, not down demonstrably, but 95 is, well, you know, he's been 90, what, 96 to occasionally 97. Used to be 99 to 101. He's not a command guy, so they're going to hit off the fastball, and if throws it in the middle of the plate, which he just did. Good hitters, and Santana is one of them. They're going to get base hits. So now you got Arias, who's a good fastball hitter, but can't hit breaking stuff. Hank throws him a backup slider.
I was talking to Brandon Hyde about this the other day. It just seems like in the modern game, a lot of pitchers who get Tommy John surgery take a little bit longer than usual to get their velo back. Here's a ground ball to third, and the Orioles will get one on a nice play by Urias. So back-to-back sliders against Arias, who struggles on that pitch.
Well, it's the right pitch, and you throw it for a strike. It's down. That means a lot of times if you're looking fastball, you get a ground ball, and then you let your defense, the Gold Glover. What an easy play.
Yeah, the Orioles think he'll get that back. It's just going to take a while, perhaps. They're still easing him back in. Hasn't thrown back-to-back games. The balance you mentioned, there's 97. You want him to pitch. You don't want him to pitch too much, but you want him to get his sea legs back. You want him to feel sound mechanically. Just get more and more reps. And they hope they'll have the old Felix back by the end of the year, but this is still not a bad version by any means.
Well, especially if he uses all his pitches. So there's 98. So 95 went to 97, 98.
And 98 at 6'8" with that arm angle. That, as you know, Jim, it jumps on you.
Right, and then also the fact that you couple that with a split-fingered fastball that he's had a little trouble commanding. That goes straight down. So you got kind of Koji Uehara up in the zone like that. And then you got the splitter, hopefully. It looks like it just bottom dropping out. So you get the strikeouts. In this situation, it will probably be hard to get a double play, but you never know.
One-two pitch. Way up high.
And there's another tendency. I mean, I never had Tommy John, but a lot of times you feel, and you could see how he flew open. In other words, front shoulder just went straight left. You try to throw harder, you usually don't. So hopefully, not only will the velocity come up, but the rhythm of throwing the fastball.
Jones takes a splitter. Rutschman down to second. Boy, that is a risky time for a steal, down 4 in the 9th. Arias got it.
Well, you do stay out of the double play, but to your point, if you get thrown out, it's the Indians. Excuse me, I knew I'd get it. The first game, and right there, nice throw, but just a little bit to the other side. Not going to throw him off anyway, but.
I mean, it wouldn't be, you know, Rogers Hornsby tagging out Babe Ruth to end the 26 World Series, but it wouldn't be a great look. 3-2 is outside, and the Guardians have a couple of base runners.
Well, that save on Saturday against the Jays, he walked a couple of guys. So ideally, you don't want a lot of pitches. Already got 10.
So now the tying run moves into the on deck circle. And it's Lane Thomas, who did ground into a double play in the 7th. Another one of those would end it. 2 outs away from finally a win streak. Bautista trying to get him right here. Starts with a strike. Orioles 6 wins coming into yesterday and lost the next game after all 6. Win number 7 last night. Blowout fashion eventually 9-1. That was a close game. The Orioles opened up in the 8th. This game they led 1-0 after 1. Trailed briefly in the 3rd, but got the lead back on a Ryan O'Hearn 3-run homer. Heston Kjerstad drove in 2 with a home run in the 6th. All the runs in this game have come on homers. 0-2 pitch is buried and chested by Rutschman.
Another great job by Adley, keeping it in front of him. They have yet to hit the splitter this year, 0 for 6, but he just spikes that one.
So the double play is maintained on a 1-2 for Thomas. Arias Jones the runners. Two and 2. Dave's a little restless, but Ryan Anderson got that one right.
Well, the pitch here is the slider, but once again, you know, that was the pitch he got out of trouble against Toronto. Now there's a split. Gets the job done. Now 0 for 7. 2 years ago, or actually 3 years ago, or what, 23, it'd be 2 years ago. This pitch, they hit 122.
And they swung and missed at 60% of the swings, the highest whiff rate of any pitcher on any single pitch in all of baseball. So now Schneemann, there's a slider. Schneemann opened the scoring for Cleveland in the 3rd. Bautista hopes that he'll close the evening. 6-2 in the 9th. Another one in the dirt. Another one that Adley blocks. It's 1-1.
Well, those are crucial plays because you're looking for an out. Game's over. Win the series. Win 2 in a row. Manzardo played the first 2 games. He's on deck. Now you still have a forced play in the infield. Makes it easier to play defense.
1 ball, 1 strike. Swing and a miss. A nasty splitter.
Well, yeah, there's the good one.
That's the 2023 split. And the Thursday night crowd will rise to its feet. 1 strike to get. Bautista will throw another one. Fouled away on 1-2.
You can see getting more comfortable as the inning goes. Velocity now up to 98. Maybe a few more pitches than you would like.
Here's his 20th of the 9th. He struck him out. Mr. Splitter comes to play. Felix strikes out the last 2 on the split. And the Orioles have their first series win of the season. Ryan O'Hearn had the big blow, a 3-run home run in the 3rd, and the Orioles not only get their first series win, they pick up their first back-to-back wins. Great defensive game too, Jim, and Tomoyuki Sagano was the beneficiary with a 7-inning start.
Well, you see Gunnar Henderson right there. He hadn't hit a home run. He started the parade with a solo, a rocket to left field. And then, as you mentioned, O'Hearn, the 3-run home run. Zagano is the story. 7 innings makes it easier for your bullpen to sequence your way through. Saves them for the Cincinnati Reds, who'll come in. You got to pitch well against them. And again, just Orioles playing up to their capabilities. What did they say today in the paper? Irrational confidence. In other words, you know you're better than you played. Even though you're not playing well, you got to think that you can play well, and they did.
So the 6th series of the year, this one belongs to the Birds. They're 8-10, and now 3-2 on the homestand. Chance to keep it rolling tomorrow night against Cincinnati. Here's the tumbling splitter, Jim, that ended it.
Yeah, and those are just quality pitches. Saw a lot of them tonight. Sir Anthony Dominguez. Maybe he's working with Felix on his split because he threw 2 to Jose Ramirez that is as good as he's ever thrown them. He doesn't throw a whole lot of them. So the bullpen's been good.
Yep.
Starting was great. And again, the home run.
Ryan O'Hearn had one of those, a 3-run shot in the 3rd. He's with us now. Good evening, Ryan.
Good evening.
Well, I know Jim Palmer must have inspired you because he said right before the swing you were looking for a hit with the runner in scoring position, and you got it. You struck out in the 1st. Were you thinking first pitch heater there?
No.